Oh, that was bad. That was. It is currently 12:45 in the morning, and I just got back from watching Five Nights at Freddy's. Been trying to get into this movie review gig for a while now. It's not going well. It's not going well at all. We did John Wick. And we did something else. But we're gonna be doing this one. Five Nights at Freddy's. I was pretty excited about Freddy Fazbear's big screen debut. I was one of the people that first discovered Five Nights at Freddy's, like a lot of you, through the GOAT, Markiplier. And this film has been through development hell for years and years and years and years. But they managed to pump this bad boy out by Blumhouse, or Blumhouse, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't care. Listen, here's what I will say. The critics who have reviewed this movie were being a little harsh. Go see the movie and decide for yourself. But they got points. They got some points. I did not play all of the Five Nights at Freddy's games. I'm aware of all of them, or if not most of them. And I fell off towards the end there. And whenever I hopped on the train, it was touted as one of the scariest games in years. And it was generational. It was revolutionary to the horror genre. And it was highly successful, which is why they were able to make multiple of them. I just realized my tripod is like on a completely, it's like not even, oh God bless America. All right, that should work better. But I was, whenever this game was touted as the scariest, and I guess in the time span that I fell off, it became the major fan base. A lot of it was kids, and a lot of it was furries. So shout out to both parties, I guess. A little confused on the how a game about animatronic ghost children kidnapping and murdering security guards became such a popular child's thing, but furries loving it, that one makes sense. And in my 10-15 showing, I can assure you there was a good amount. There was a good amount of you guys. So, and they loved it. And I'm sure the kids will love this one too. Getting into the positives of this movie, because I want to get into the positives before we get into the negatives, and then I'll kind of like score it. Positives. Josh Hutcherson. Can't even believe he was fucking in this thing. But he was. And he tried. And he was all right. He was pretty good in it. The animatronics themselves, great. They look great. I think that them deciding to do practical effects instead of CGI was the correct choice for this. Matthew Lillard, I wish he was in it more, but he was good, I guess. And the first 40 minutes were great. And that's kind of where my enjoyment of this movie stopped. So there's going to be spoilers in this. I didn't know if I clarified that yet, but now you know. When I sat down in this film, I absolutely did not have high hopes at all. I mean, with the development that this movie has been in for years and years and years. And how the fuck do you even write a script for a movie like this in the beginning? Because if you don't know, the plot line of the games are a clusterfuck all by himself. So just sitting down here and trying to write a script for this thing, I imagine, terrible. But with that being said, the first 45 minutes of this thing had a compelling story, a character, a main character that I enjoyed as a protagonist, with a lead actor that was great. Matthew Lillard as the villain, I'm in. The suits look great. I'm not going to come on here and bitch about it being PG-13, with it being such a kid thing. Business first, I guess. I get it. This movie definitely would have benefited a little more from being rated R. Because, every kill except one was off screen. So, or except two were off screen. So this could have probably benefited from being rated R, but being PG-13, you gotta make your money. I get it. Talking about the negatives, like those TikTok memes where it's like, together we are FNAF, and they're all like, that shit's real. I was kind of shut off in this movie whenever they were building a blanket fort. And it found its way. Like the first 40 minutes of this movie, like we were in the car. I had no hopes that this car was going to get to its destination without crashing. We kind of get on the freeway a little bit. We're going 60. We're picking it up to 65. We're going 70 now. And then I was like, I had some confidence. I was like, this is gonna be all right. And then we flipped and we crashed and I died, and I guess that was my fault for for thinking that this was gonna end in an absolute dumpster fire. The animatronics made a fort. They started playing with the kid. And script writing in this thing, not as bad as you would think, except a couple scenes I was like, you're pushing it. Really, this movie fails. Like we crash in the middle act, but it kind of finds its way back, and I was anticipating. I was like, all right, we'll be able to drag this car over the finish line. It'll be a little bumpy, but we'll get there. And then the finale, like the animated scene where like Wile E. Coyote is driving a fucking car, and then the car like falls apart around him, and it's just him like that, and his ass is just skimming on the road. That was kind of like me towards the end here. But like I said, if you are like a mega fan of this franchise and you dress up as these characters, you're gonna love it. It wasn't a complete dumpster fire, and that's the best compliment that I could give it, considering the development that this thing went through. Could have been going back to the drawing board. 1000%. Are they gonna make a sequel? Yeah. This movie's gonna make a lot of money. This movie's gonna make a fucking unbelievable amount of money. And which, good. I'm happy for him. And they leave it open-ended for a sequel. And I think Matthew Lillard, if they give him more screen time, can be a compelling and creepy villain. But I think that they should lean more into the horror. I think that a lot of the and like I wasn't expecting this movie to be that scary, of course. But I think like a lot of the scary elements were the mystery. Like I know that they're ghost kids, and a lot of the people knew that it was ghost kids, but the horror kind of came from the mystery that it was ghost kids. And I think that a story about that and kind of playing that throughout the movie instead of just being like in the middle of the movie, oh, hey, they're ghost kids. You're friends with the ghost kids. The ghost kids want to make you a ghost kid. Let's stop the ghost kids. I think you could have just just, that should have been the hook. But it wasn't as dog shit as I thought it was going to be. Could they have done better? Absolutely. Could they have done worse? I've seen it before. So I'm gonna give Five Nights at Freddy's I'm gonna do my Fantano here. I'm gonna give it a strong 4, light 5. Go see it. Formulate your own opinion. Like I said, if you if you're a diehard fan of this, from the beginning it was made to today, where it became like kids galore and furry feast, you'll love it. Even if you're not, like, I'm not saying if you love this franchise you're like a furry, because that's like, that's, if you're like a fan of this thing, then or like a mega fan, you'll love it. Even if you're not a furry and you're not a kid, if you're just like a person who's like, yeah, I like the games, I kind of think that's my perspective on it. I thought the games are fun and scary. They're scary, which is why I was like, you should make this a little more scary. See the next review. What will that be? Fuck if I know. I just found out how to plug my microphone into my fucking phone. I have no idea. But yeah, peace, love. Yeah.